Hello, everybody. Welcome to Paint of Heart. Hope you're having a good day. I found the camera.
That's
Hi.
good.
I'm Angela, and this is Colton, and we are gonna do a little crafting today. We got some. We're breaking tradition. We're gonna do a little bit more than just painting today. What are you up to, Colton?
Yeah, so I am going to be building a full unit of the Flamers of Zinch models for my 40k army.
Nice.
There's 3 of them, and we should be able to get them all built in one stream, and I'm very excited because they're a gorgeous model.
I'm very excited to see them,
and yeah,
they look very cool.
What are you up to?
I'm doing a bunch of stuff today because I can't decide on one project. So you can't really see just yet. But let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. You guys can see more of my setup now. So I've got a few things, but the main thing I'm doing is I'm going to be decorating some bases for some of the minis that I've painted already.
Ooh,
because some of them are a little top heavy. So we're going to be working on trying to make them a little better. I went to a Goodwill. I got a bunch of random game board pieces, including these, which I don't know what they are, but they're kind of like pogs. They're nice and thick plastic, and they should be good to go. But I have a bunch of materials. I have some glue, and we're gonna do the initial construction before I go and spray paint them and paint them. But we're gonna be playing with that. If I get done with that early or just, sitting around waiting for glue to dry, literally, I have some other things that I can do. I have a little piece of jewelry, technically, that is the symbol from my old D&D campaign, Might Club. And one of my players 3D printed the symbol that they got.
That's cool.
So I'm going to use the green stuff, the liquid green stuff that I have, to smooth it out.
Nice.
And see if that works. And then in addition to that, I'm going to see if the liquid green stuff works for this 3D model that my mom bought me, which is like a little dice hoard for a single D20.
Oh, that's adorable.
But he's still got the, you can hear it. He's still got the striations, I guess. So I'm going to see if I can fix that.
Have you acetone?
I have not yet. I am just curious. Okay. I have not acetoned it yet. I have acetone and Q-tips, so I might try it. I just got to turn my fan on if I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So, but I want to see if the green stuff works, at least on some of it, just to kind of see if that's a feasible option. It's a lot more expensive to use the green stuff,
right?
but we'll see. And then, so the models I'm going to do bases on are, I don't think I showed everybody, but I did paint the eye of my beholder.
Nice.
Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you all can see what I did here, because I did a bit more than just the iris. I also painted the little eyeballs all over the piece. So there's these little eyeballs kind of sticking out everywhere. They're subtle, but they're fun. So as you can see, if I hold him up straight, he leans forward, which makes him very top heavy. So I'm going to do a combination of things. I was thinking of leaning him or leaving him leaning forward, but I think what I want to do is lean him back just a little, which is going to require me to bust out my foam clay, which I have here, which is very, very moldable. And I'm a big fan of it. And I'm just going to basically lean it a little and let it dry like that. And then glue some stones and things. So I have a bunch of things here that I collected from a Goodwill. I got some rocks, some literal pebbles. But then I also have these crystals that have a slightly different texture to them. Obviously, they're going to be, they're pieces of glass from dollar store or something. So yeah, I have hot glue and super glue. I might even do an additional base for my purple worm, who I think I still need to highlight. I think he's a little too dark. So
yeah.
I haven't done his teeth yet. So
Ooh,
that's the
funnest.
So I have a bunch of things to do. But first of all, I need to put gloves on eventually. When I get to the super glue, I need to put my gloves on. I'm really bad about getting super glue on my hands.
Same. But it's fine. It's fine. All right, so unboxing time. Yay.
Yay!
For
I'm
those
very
of you who have
excited.
never, done anything with Warhammer, you get to see sort of what a set is. Open it. There we go.
I'm gonna mute
Get the
myself
little-
while I open my bag here for the foam. It's very loud.
I love that we get the symbol of Tzeentch on the inside of the little tab here. That's just cute marketing. So this set is pretty simple. It is 2 sprues with all the parts. Just these plastic. Jesus, that was more difficult than it should have been to say. 2 plastic scaffolds with all the pieces we'll be using today to build the flamers. So I'm gonna put that there, that there.
Colton, do you craft with your sprues?
In theory, I should. I have this guy right here.
Okay.
I'm pointing to. He has a really large area between his feet, and I really want to build like a brick wall out of sprue pieces that it looks like he's like crashed through.
That would be really cool.
So maybe I'd like to.
I need to send you a channel that I follow on YouTube. The guy, he does a lot of crafting with sprues and other junk that he has.
Oh, nice.
And it's very good. He has some really cool ideas about how to utilize that stuff very well.
And then in addition to the instruction booklet right here, we also get 3 different bases for the models. So I'm going to be putting those over there. And then we're going to begin. So, yeah.
So I am gonna just do a little bit of molding to give the beholder something to sit on. That evens him out a little bit. But the foam isn't necessarily going to stay on the base, so I am going to add just a dot of super glue. Just to get it to hang out. I have this really cheap super glue and it's liquid, so it goes everywhere. So I've started spending a little extra money and buying gel super glue.
Honestly, I prefer liquid super glue.
It depends. It just depends on the use for it, because I like being able to just put a dot on and have it stay where I put it, which is something that the liquid does not like to do.
That's fair.
Okay.
And so what's nice, I'm not sure if you can see it, but each piece is numbered on the sprue.
Nice.
So it's very easy
like
to
an
tell
IKEA.
which pieces. Yeah, very much like IKEA. So the toothbrush is it's a secret model building tech. It gets plaque off real well. No, I mean it does, but that's not what I'm using it for here today. What it does is I scrape my mold lines. So all models that are molded have these little mold lines. I'm not sure if they are
like
thin,
there's tiny little lines along the edges.
where it's where the molds, 2 halves of the mold.
Where you injected
connected.
the liquid and it kind of seeps.
Yeah. So what I do is that's what I use this X-Acto knife for. I scrape the mold line off, and then I use the toothbrush to get all the the little plastic filings off.
Nice.
I also use it to wash all my models, because before I prime them, I give them a little wash in just some Dawn dish soap.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I find that it helps the primer stay on better. Because it gets like any oil that's left over from the process of, plastic molding off. So yeah, so this piece will look like this when these two parts are connected.
So I've already got my base kind of set up. So I have this bit of foam that I stuck on it. I did it at an angle so that the beholder could kind of look straight ahead. And then I stuck a bunch of the rocks in it of various colors. And I'm gonna let this air dry for a couple of days, and then I will glue or I will do some green stuff maybe along it just to smooth it out, or I might just spray it with some acrylic spray paint. Well, I can't actually because I've already painted the figure, so I'll have to do it manually. I'll just prime it by hand.
Sure.
I'm also go ahead.
The mold we're talking about is the mold that molded these pieces. Not I personally don't cast the molds. The mold lines are a product of the process of just making the model, or making the sprue, I should say. So the mold that created all of this is, in two pieces and leaves these lines behind.
What's fun about the broken glass is that it leaves some really fun shapes that kind of look like crystals. So I'm actually gonna stick them up so that they look like little stalagmites.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I've not figured out what I want to do for my army's bases yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I want it to look like. I think just like buying some dollar store gems might be cute.
Sure. Let's see, what else do I got? Oh, we can do the ogre. I was gonna fill in some of the gaps anyway where his feet are sticking out.
Oh,
so I'll do that. And we've got my super dumb looking giant. I can work on his base. He's from Tangled, but he has the dumbest expression on his face, and it makes me so happy that I have to turn him into like a hill giant.
Love that.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go all Play-Doh and twirl this in my fingers so that I get a little like tube of this foam, and I'm just gonna go around the edges of his feet on the back so that I can press some rocks in there so it looks like he's stepping through rocks.
Nice.
But it's mainly just to cover up the gap that exists because I super glued him and only certain parts of his foot fell down onto the base that I used.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, so Colton, do you know of the show Drawfee?
I know of it.
Okay. So there's and I feel like if you've heard of Drawfee, you know about Marabiba.
I do not.
Okay, so one of the artists, Julia Lepetit, is an incredible artist. She's so cool. She is, I think, even by admission of the other members of the cast of Drawfee, probably the best illustrator in the group. Whenever they do challenges in Drawfee, she's always last. They always make her go last, because she inevitably just goes above and fucking beyond what the challenge was. So, like, for example, there was an episode, and this is going to be a little bit of a walk, but I feel like it's important for context. So one of the challenges was to take a shape and to create a character out of it. And this is the first time that you kind of realize that Julia's just operating on a different wavelength than everybody else. So everybody gets gets a random shape, and then they have to create a character out of that shape. And she gets her picture, or she gets her shape, and she starts drawing inside the shape. And they're like, okay, what are you doing, Julia? And then she draws some figures looking out inside the shape. And then she blacks out everything on the outside of the shape. And they're like, Julia, what are you doing? And she goes, I'm making a room full of vampires.
Oh my.
And you're like, what? And so that was the beginning. And since then, in one episode, they did like a quick draw, or what they do is they do a quick episode where they have independently gone and done the challenge, and then they just watch it in fast motion together.
Sure.
So they don't have to watch like someone who worked on something for like 8 hours. And one time, Julia is like, okay, so I really wanted to mimic this particular style of art. But then I found out that they do it in fucking 3D. And then it cuts, the speed picture cuts to her opening a program. And one of the artists goes, Julia, is that Blender?
Oh my god.
Julia, did you learn Blender for this? And she goes, yep, you're watching me learn Blender.
Sweet mother of God.
So that she could do a
impressive.
3D image. And then in a different one, they drew fan art of a character in a different aesthetic style. So like she did Luigi in the style of Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, cute. Did she make
to which they cut to her at a crafting table creating it out of clay.
Oh my god.
And then getting LED lights and hooking it up because it was Luigi's Mansion Luigi. So she wanted his little ghost pack and she wanted it to glow. Her dad, if it makes any sense, she does a lot of tinkering. Her dad is in construction, so like,
oh yeah.
She's like, so when I was building this stuff, if I didn't do it correctly, my dad was gonna like throw a shit fit. So like, she's making individual popsicle stick boards for the floorboards, and like, she goes above and beyond all the time, and she's very, very good, and also very, very silly. Everyone on the show is very silly, but Julia's just, she's like I said, she's on another wavelength sometimes. So what happened was, there's an episode where they occasionally will have like something that kind of just becomes a meme.
Sure.
Lots of people get into it, and so they have something that they're known for. This one was very unexpected. It just sort of happened. They were doing a video where they had to draw their interpretation of what they thought a medieval word meant.
Okay.
And the word that they got, the word that Nathan, one of the other guys, got was Marabiba, which apparently means like a woman who like a slovenly woman who drinks a lot. And then they started joking about it sounding like, and then Julia said, "Oh, that's my favorite Disney princess, Marabiba." And so Nathan started drawing this weird, like cockeyed version of Merida from Brave.
Oh my god.
And you can find Marabiba on YouTube. There's lots of animations that people have done of the conversation. But like, they're just going like, "I'm Marabiba. A witch turned my mom into a bear. I'm Marabiba." And it just becomes a catchphrase. And the best part is that Julia and her partner Jacob are the ones riffing off of it, and Nathan's just trying to draw. And he seems so uninterested in this joke that Julia is so amused with.
Sure.
He's like, "I'm really glad you guys are amused by this." And Julia's like, "Yeah, Nathan literally just told me we're just talking about how we really wanted to have another like viral video." And I went, "Counterpoint, I'm Marabiba." So it's this, I even have if anybody goes onto the Discord server, I haven't officially put it on the Nerdsmith Discord, but I do have a Marabiba emoji that I made based on Nathan's picture, because it's just this like weird looking sort of not stick figure, but very like low rent Merida with like googly eyes. And so the long walk here is that when I was at a toy store, or when I was at a Five Below, one of those like dollar store places, they have Funko Pops of Disney characters. And they've started making, and Disney has started realizing, oh, we can really market, or we can like double dip by making the aliens from Toy Story dressed like other Disney characters.
Oh, God.
And so I found an alien dressed like Merida from Brave. It's about as close as I'm going to get to Marabiba. I have trigger warning for surgery, but I have excised the middle eyeball.
Sure.
I'm going to fill it in with air foam. I'm gonna round out the pointed ears. I lopped off the top of the antenna, and this is as close to a Marabiba doll as I'm going to have. So I'm very excited by it, irrationally. And yeah, that's one of the things I'm gonna do today. Is potentially just try to fill out the Marabiba doll, or get it stuck. That also is what I could do. There we go. Sorry. Let's get this. This is the worst visual. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'm gonna keep it off camera if I can manage. Because without context, this is horrific. Trying to extrude air clay out of the skull of this alien that I accidentally dropped it in the hole. Okay. Anyway. Well, I was very amused. So, in addition to figure bases, I also have these trees that I got at a dollar store.
Oh, fun.
And so I'm gonna do a couple of bases with air foam for the trees. I'm really thinking that I'm going to minimize, or I think I'm going to leave the tops not glued, because I kind of like the idea of leaving them and then being able to use other types of tops of trees if I want to change the style of tree, like the landscape of the tree.
I think that's a smart idea.
Get some more foam.
Alright, so I've excised most of the lines.
Nice.
Most of the visible lines. And now it's... The great thing about liquid super glue is that it sets instantly.
Yeah. It's both great and dangerous.
Yeah, so I will just make a drop here. Drop here. Drop here. Drop here.
Oh yeah, you got to get the fine tip, of course, because you're gonna actually apply it to something. It's got to stay put.
Get all that going, and I just put this here. Get it all set together, and because liquid super glue is amazing, it is already set.
Nice.
So now we get one full piece. So you know how we were like agog about the abs on your tiefling warlock?
Oh, does this guy? These guys don't hold
the abs on this guy.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I don't know why these random demons are just built to hell, but like
I mean, it's in the name.
that is.
Ayo. Hey, guess what, Colton? Still got some.
Yes. I have a little bit on me too.
Have you tried acetone to get it off?
Yeah, but like also it goes away on its own eventually, so like
Yeah, but the acetone's like 30 seconds as opposed to 3 days.
well, I kind of just ignore it.
Unless you enjoy it, then I'm not gonna judge. It's just
I don't enjoy it, but I don't like it. And I just put a little glue on the bottom, get it onto the base, and all right, we have our the base of our flamer. Still missing its head and the arms, but yeah. So now that we've done that, we can flip the page. And we can
Can't see what I'm doing, but I promise it's cool.
Oh, no, the head comes first, actually.
I also need to turn down the music. I realize the music's a little loud. It's true, if they don't have legs, they have double arm day and ab day.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna
go with the 18 and 19 head. 25, 18, 19, here we are. So I get my little clippers. Clip here, here, clip here.
leave that. Let that set.
I really need to get these sharp.
I also realized one of the things I need to do with this is I need to super glue the bottom of the tree. Because otherwise it is gonna lean.
Yeah, that's probably important.
Just a little bit of super glue. So, just to set that down. The other one is not, so I have a eerie suspicion that it's gonna fall off or it's gonna lean. But we'll see. Probably fine. You know what? I'm gonna do a little bit of super glue around the edge so that as the air clay starts to dry, maybe the tree will stick.
I mean, the good thing about trees in nature is most of them do lean. Sure. Anyway, so like, you know, trees leaning, and
so we got
not sure
that.
it's going to make.
And then,
You good?
Is it the foam clay is a little stringy.
That'll do.
Well, I don't seem to be using the hot glue as I had intended to. Around the base. All these little rocks, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna take the top off the tree so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Just creating some randomness to sticking these rocks out of the base of the tree. And I'm going to keep it as neutral as I can in terms of the bottom. I'll probably just paint it a similar-ish color to the tree trunk.
Sure.
More. A couple of pieces of glass. Just gonna squish it down.
All right, chat. I put the headpiece right here. Don't let me forget where it is, because I've done that before. Set it down, and then I'm like, oh my god, where is it?
Now I remember what I was going to do here. I'm going to sort the big pieces out, and then use the little pieces, and I'm gonna throw a little hot glue on here, and then I'm gonna drop it like when you do glitter coating of something.
Oh, yeah.
So that it'll stick to the base, and that'll help us lose the foam clay of it, the kind of soft, pillowy effect.
Right.
Which I realized I probably am gonna do with my instead of trying to make clouds, I think I might just do that with the harpy.
Oh,
that might be easier.
Yeah.
She's not in the sky anyway, so just something that looks more like a mountainous kind of situation. See, one of the things I love about this particular thing is then I'm using up this what is essentially garbage. and I really like feeling like I'm using stuff, and I end up with huge collections of random shit, and this solves that problem of feeling like it's all just sitting around. Okay, sorry, I got that right up on the mic. I didn't mean to turn this into an ASMR, but it's happening. All right. So, I'm going to mute while I do this because I really like you guys and I don't want to hurt your ears.
All right, well, I guess that means I'm in charge of talking now.
You are, just for a few minutes.
Right. Oh, darn. Could it be conceivable that I could
Hill time.
keep talking for that long? Ooh, who knows? No.
Oh, Colton, don't forget
yes.
headpieces on the round thing.
Yes, I just grabbed
Thank
it.
you, Hope.
Thank you very much. Okay, so, actually, what I want to say is, Hope, thank you so very much for helping me out. Because I, occasionally will engage in Pokemon draft competitions, where a bunch of Pokemon are set up and you draft and make a competitive team, and it's very fun. And I recently, I'm still in one right now. The draft is just finishing, and I think my team is overall very good. And it was built under Hope's advisement. So thank you very much, Hope. For everyone else, the team was we had 90 points to pick 8 Pokemon. And what I got was Cyclizar, Hisuian Arcanine, Pecharunt, which is the new Mythic, which technically isn't even out yet, but will be out in 2 days, because it comes out the 11th. Hisuian Gudra, Landorus Therian form, Amoonguss, Azumarill, and then Snom, because I ran out of points for my 9th pick. And I'm very excited to see how it plays out. So I've just, back to my model, I've just reconnected the head, put the head in the heads, I guess. It's more of a clump of nightmarish heads. And yes, Snom is the most important member, the mascot of the team. Technically, I haven't gotten Snom yet, but I don't foresee any difficulties getting Snom. If Snom inexplicably gets picked before I can, I'm going to do Paris, which is like one of my favorite Pokemon ever. Snom's also one of my favorite Pokemon ever. On my Twitter, you actually can see all of my favorite Pokemon. Snom and Paris are both on the list. And yeah, it's very fun. Alright, so I have this guy. Now we need to give him some arms. Okay. So, arms. I think I'm gonna go with 17 and 9. So here's 9. Snip right here. Snip right here. Snip right here. Give him a nice left arm. Go on like that eventually. What did I say? 17? Yeah, I believe that's on this. 16, 17. Aha. And what's really nice about Warhammer models is they are designed for a lot of like flexibility in creating. So I have 3, models to build from this kit, but I have 4 sets of arms, 5 sets of heads, and because that's really the only bit you can modify with only this kit. But it gives a little character to how you choose to make your models, what you choose for them to look like. And Hope, there are a few Warhammer games. The two main big ones are Warhammer 40k, which is the one set in the future. But then there is also Warhammer Age of Sigmar, which is the fantasy, high fantasy game. And what's great about Chaos Demons is you get to play them in both games. They're the one army that can be in both games. But other than that, there is Kill Team, which is a very smaller version of 40k, where instead of fielding 50 models, you only have 10 models on the board. It's much more smaller engagements. And then I believe there's a Kill Team version for Age of Sigmar, but I'm not 100% sure. And then there are a lot of video games. Rogue Trader is the most recent one, where you play a human rogue trader, which is a type of person that goes around and flies around and technically can violate some amount of Empire law, because rogue traders are useful. They can talk to the aliens instead of having to immediately murder them or get murdered themselves, and stuff like that. Which I just saw a thing on the internet. It was a review of Warhammer Rogue Traders, and it was I'm being punished for trying to be the good guy, and it is is this game just made to be miserable, or what's happening here? And it's well, yeah, that's 40k. Everyone's miserable all the time, and there's no such thing as a good person. Congratulations, you figured it out. And I just thought that was funny.
I have returned. I have been listening the whole time, though. It was very noisy. So, another trick, if anybody doesn't know this, it's a trick for 3D printing, but it also works for hot glue. If you have a heat gun, and you end up with a ton of little stringy bits, you can apply the heat gun, and it will melt the little strings back into back into a liquid form. So you can minimize that weird stringy quality of the glue. Clean up the piece a little bit. So, I will be doing that later.
I love that idea, Hope.
Yeah. Oh, what did Hope say? Warhammer, everyone's miserable all the time. It's not just you, everyone's miserable.
I should say that's not entirely correct, because the orcs, they're having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Because the orcs there are orcs in 40k, with a K instead of a C, and their whole thing is that they were specifically created to fight in a war, so they were genetically designed to love violence. So now they're just having a great time.
Yeah.
Waging war against the entire galaxy. Their currency are teeth, which is just the teeth that they've punched out of other orcs.
That's awesome.
They also all have very bad Cockney accents.
I love it. That's really good.
Yeah.
They all sound like Grog from Critical Role.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I love it.
And technically this isn't correct, but I like it because it's funny.
Yeah.
The biggest orc, the meanest orc, the one that is currently waging a war against the entire galaxy, is named after Margaret Thatcher.
Incredible.
Like,
just Thatcher or
Thaka.
I love it.
Its last name.
I love it. That's beautiful.
It's Gazgul Thraka. And what happened was the writer who was creating Thraka just went to the Mordor Black Speech dictionary that he had and was like, I need an orc name. And it like means the biggest orc or whatever. And it just so happens to sound like Margaret Thatcher. And because originally when Warhammer was created, back in the 80s, it was specifically a satire of Thatcherism.
Interesting.
So it's very cute how that sort of happens.
That's really fun. I love that.
I have not, Hope. I did once play the space battle Star Wars tabletop game, but I've not played any of the others. There is a General Grievous model that, like, next time my local game store gets it in, I am buying it and I am building it and I'm painting it on stream.
Amazing! I'm excited.
General Grievous is my favorite character in Star Wars.
He is interesting.
He is very, very sexy.
Criminally underserved by the movies.
Yes.
But then I gotta get back to my soapbox. That's not a statement for me. That's not a statement on Lucas. The statement on Lucas makes good, like, visual concepts that then people make better. Like, they fix the lore.
Yes.
So it's like I don't really attribute a lot to Lucas himself because of it. I usually attribute more to, like, Dave Filoni or some of the other people that are doing, or like Timothy Zahn, things like that, where they have taken the world and then ran with it in a way that I appreciate.
I actually have a Timothy Zahn book right there, just out of screen.
Nice.
It's my second copy of Dark Force Rising.
Nice.
I also have
I played the old Dark Forces games. The ones with Kyle Katarn. I liked those.
My favorite Star Wars book series.
Yeah, you like the Yuzhang Vong.
They're so good, and I'm the only one. And
I'm not opposed. It had a storyline that people weren't ready for. It was like, let's drop a moon on somebody, on a beloved character, sure.
Chewbacca could have walked it off.
I am glad you think so highly of him that you're like, yeah, he'd be fine. He's fine. Walk it off, buddy. Just walk it off.
The book that takes place directly after Chewbacca gets a moon dropped on him is the single best piece of Star Wars of all time. And I stand by that. Even in modern day Star Wars.
That's awesome.
Traitor by Matthew Stover is...
Oh, because is that starting the like Jason turning to the dark side storyline, or is that like... I personally...
Yes.
I know that the movies, they want their own thing, but, like, there is something so beautiful and, like, mythic and poetic about the Solo / Skywalker twins having to battle to the death. There is something so beautiful about it, and so appropriate to the way that Star Wars is told, and the fact that the twins don't exist I mean, I understand that maybe it's a little convenient, but, like, isn't there, like, a genetic predisposition to having twins? Or, like, I feel like twins or triplets are more likely to have twins or triplets, but I don't know.
I think
maybe
that's
I'm wrong.
good bullshit. That even
it's
if it's
good bullshit.
Not true,
okay,
makes sense.
But, like, yeah. So the idea of, like, no, it reinforces the whole bullshit about balance. That, like, there is always balance, and for good or bad, and that really does dick over the people who are you know, that you don't necessarily want bad things to happen to them, but yeah. Though I understand kind of pulling a little bit away from the Skywalker legacy. Like, there can be other people that are important in the series. I will always forever, though. I haven't watched the third Star Wars sequel. Rise of Skywalker. I haven't done it.
It is...
Can't. Rather,
fine.
I'm not ready. I need to be drunk, I think. I think it might be more enjoyable if I'm a little tipsy.
I mean, I think that's just all Star Wars in general.
Sure. There's a guy who, I want to say it's Belated Media, and he did a series called What If Episode 1 Was Good?
Episode 1 is good, and I think everyone is just whiny babies.
Here's the thing, though. I love Belated Media. He did such a beautiful write-up. Like, his concept for, like, his take on the trilogy is so interesting. Like, it's more adult, obviously. It's not the, like, trying to get the kids into, like, even though Star Wars is obviously meant for families and kids.
Yeah, I mean, it always has been.
But it like, reinforced my drunken rants about the fact that I wanted there to be a little like Lancelot Guinevere kind of thing with Padme and Obi-Wan. Not that they would act on it, but the fact that there would be a little bit of something, and Anakin is at least intelligent enough to sense that, and that drives him to the edge, like, as opposed to it coming out of fucking nowhere. Like, there's no fucking proof of it. There's nothing. Like, it feels less tragic and more just, you're a dumbass.
Right. Well, I mean,
but if there's a hint of it, it becomes, listen, I'm faithful to you.
Will do.
Even though there is a person who is arguably just as unavailable, but more stable, someone who would arguably be better for me than you. Right. But I choose you, and then that person goes, no, you're betraying me, and then that feels more appropriately toxic to me than the coming out of nowhere. I don't know.
I mean, I would argue that Anakin's fall to the dark side didn't really come out of nowhere. In
sure.
the in the sequels or prequels, because
I do highly recommend you check out the episode 1 though, because he does a really nice job of giving Anakin moments of you actually being able to see that there's a little darkness where there is literally no clue of it when he's a kid, and it would be a little more foreboding for there to be a little bit like this kid's like 13. I think he aged him up just a little bit for the purposes of it. One, so Padme and him wouldn't be so kind of gross.
Well, yeah, there is that.
But spending episode 1 building Padme and Obi-Wan hanging out with each other to create a will they, won't they with them. And then the idea that she falls in love with Anakin later, like, yeah, there used to be a little something, but, like, they're just really close now. And they deserve to have how about this? Padme deserved to have a strong friendship or a strong relationship with someone other than just Anakin.
Yes.
She was very much isolated plot-wise. It wasn't even like in the story. It was like, no, Lucas just didn't give her a chance to be a fully fleshed, like, have scenes that weren't just about Anakin.
Yes. And unfortunately, there was one. It was brilliant, and it was cut from Revenge of the Sith. It was
who was it with?
So, okay. Story time.
Story time,
Revenge of the Sith,
Uh-huh.
there is a single female character that speaks. And it's Padme.
There's like, isn't like one of her old handmaidens? There's like an assassination attempt that got cut.
No, that's the second.
Oh, that's... Okay.
Yeah. But the cut scene was her, Mon Mothma, and a few other senators being like, I'm not sure I like what the Supreme Chancellor is doing.
Yeah, a political drama.
Yeah.
You put a Senate in a movie and you like shy away from the politics of it? That's just...
Yeah. But it got cut for time, even though it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes already, and George Lucas doesn't care, so it should have just been added. Because Mon Mothma is amazing.
But Colton, it had to be about Anakin and how sad he is. Honestly, just
another fun fact about that movie. That movie was being written as it was being filmed by George Lucas on a legal pad, and like there are pictures of just him sitting down.
It's so irritating.
Next to the actors and just like scribbling on a legal pad.
I don't know. I find that irritating and unprofessional.
Yeah.
Like, have a story that you want to tell, but if you don't have a story to tell, give it to somebody who could tell a story who had a story that they wanted to tell.
Like, the thing is, the story of Revenge of the Sith is really good in the broad strokes.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Give Lucas the broad strokes. Just don't let him do the minutia.
Yeah, and that was sort of the biggest issue with the sequels, is that, and I think this is also a big issue with like The Mandalorian, right? Favreau does not have a writer's room for The Mandalorian. All the episodes of The Mandalorian are written by Favreau, are written by Filoni, not anyone else. And with Star Wars being such a collaborative thing, it's so sad. And I'm very excited to see what happens with Star Wars going forward, because after the writer's strike ended, pretty much guaranteeing that shows like that are going to have a writer's room. We're going to get to see how much better it is when Star Wars is collaborative, because like the original series, that wasn't just Lucas, that was so many people, but Lucas gets attributed it only. All right,
and a fucking auteur theory.
Ugh, I hate it. I have finished my first flamer.
Nice.
Hold on.
Exciting.
I'm gonna see if I can't get it to not blind. Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god, Hope. George Lucas is brilliant at falling up, and I wish I had that ability. It should be a D&D feat. That D&D feat should exist for people like me who roll like garbage on a regular basis. Where it's like, if you roll below a 10, like, basically, just treat your dice as the opposite.
I actually had a... Oh.
I was gonna say, if anybody wants to check out, this is, I finished a bunch of the bases because they're just kind of procedural after a while. So I've got, it looks like gemstones right now. It's cool, but it's also unfinished. So I will be painting over it. Actually, I'm gonna let it dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna go over it in the green stuff just to smooth it out and kind of stick more stuff together so that the pieces don't fall. But I also have the harpy. Has some craggy rockiness now. I've got trees that have a little bit of craggy rockiness now. They'll look a lot better when I'm done. We've got the troll with a few pieces of stone around the feet. My worm now has a better base. Nice big round base that it'll sit on. Sits a little better now. It doesn't just tip over. And what's nice is the crystals and the pebbles look a lot like the pieces that are in the mold. So, actually looks pretty good. Thank you, Hope. So yeah. The last one is the beautiful hill giant, who I'm so excited about. He's such a dummy.
Also, Hope, to go back to something you said a while ago, yes, I will make you read Legends. That is my goal, to make everyone read Star Wars Legends, specifically Traitor by Matthew Stover. If you read one Legends book, let it be that. It's like $3 on thriftbooks.com. It's great. And I'm so disappointed with how the rest of Legends treated Vergir, who's one of the characters in Traitor. Because... Don't tempt me, Hope. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Hey, I have a tool for this. And I'm just taking a sharp point and trying to find the edges of the shoes again because I accidentally put clay all over them.
Oof.
It's okay. The foam clay is so easy to mold at the beginning. And it takes like a couple of hours for it to get solid again, so it's very easy to mess with.
If it didn't happen during school, I probably would be willing to. Hope. Though also my future is so in flux right now because I have no idea what I'm doing after I graduate in 2 semesters. So,
Listen, life is a series of figuring out what you're doing, so don't feel like you have to have it all figured out.
But I don't want to figure out anything.
Listen, I have a friend who's in his mid-30s and is now deciding he wants to go to film school.
Oh, nice.
Because there's lots of people that start. I mean, there's obviously a lot of like somebody, but like there's lots of people that start later in life.
Oh yeah.
They don't start it, and 34 isn't even later in life. You know, it's because you haven't been. And I know a lot of people that go to film school and then say you don't have to go to film school.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just make the thing you want to make. Obviously, like you really got to commit and you got to hope you luck into certain things, but
I can't really talk about it, but I'm actually working on a short film right now.
That's awesome.
With some local people.
That's really cool.
So that's very exciting. As a writer.
Nice. I am also that friend. I'm working on a Resident Evil short film with him.
Oh, fun! I love RE.
Yeah, well, it's got a mix of a few things from Resident Evil 1 and 2. It's kind of a reinterpretation or a fleshing out of the prologue from 1.
Oh, fun.
So I get to... So I basically did a deep dive into Resident Evil lore, at least the beginning stuff, and we were asking questions that like nobody really asks when it comes to Resident Evil sometimes, where it's like, describe these characters. Not just who punched a rock and who fought in a mansion. It's like, let's actually dive down into their character. What motivates them? What are their needs in the story? How can we characterize them? How can we humanize them without, losing the excitement of the situation that they're in?
Right.
So I'm very excited to kind of flesh out characters. It also involves me figuring out a fun conceit for lore, like for info dumping at the beginning. And I came up with the idea of doing a true crime podcast.
Oh, that's cute.
So like
that's really
Claire
cute.
listens to true crime podcasts. And so I came up with the name. It's called Deus Erie. It's a Midwest and Mid-Atlantic true crime show. I'm really proud of it.
That's so amazingly terrible. Like,
Isn't
that
it
is
great?
so good.
Thank you. I kind of want to just write the podcast. Like, because ideally what it is I thought it would be funny to do a true crime podcast that is talking about fictional, like, movie and video game plots as if they were true crime murder mystery, like, cryptid stories that somebody would tell.
That would be so fun.
Yeah, so I was amused.
Don't tempt me because
listen, it needs two people.
Angela.
I have a friend named Eric who is an incredible voice actor. He's literally got like 1 billion voices inside of him that I'm thinking of asking to join, but like it can be 2 or 3 people. That's all I'm saying. Damn it, more super glue on my fingers!
If you get everything going, I won't say no.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'm gonna work on the script soon. It's literally gonna be a very small, like, as like a promotion for the movie. I'll probably like write a 10-minute episode, but it's talking about like the incident in the woods outside of Raccoon City, and the cannibals that supposedly live out there.
Right.
And like, so there's like a SWAT team, right? Like, why'd they send them out there? There must be, are these like doomsday preppers that have decided that human flesh is the sustainable food source? Like, why are you sending SWAT? To be fair, the STAR program is really weird. Like, to have a city have like their own like Marines, it's really weird.
Yeah.
It's almost like somebody wrote it who was not from the US and didn't know how the cops work.
I mean, at the same time, is it that weird? Like, with the rise in
Well,
the
yeah, but we're
militarized
talking
police of
like
America.
15 to 20 years ago, which it wasn't as, I guess like the war on drugs was already sort of a thing that was escalating. It's not nearly as prevalent then as it is now. Come on, give me a little piece. A little piece of rock. That's enough. Alright, good enough. I got my hill giant base as well.
Nice.
Alright, so I'm gonna call it for the bases now. I have this jar full of little rocks, and I use it specifically for this kind of thing. But I used almost all of my my little glass pieces, so that's great. I used all the little crumbs, so I don't have to have that anymore.
Nice.
Hi, Whiskey. How you doing, buddy? Puppy's sleeping. Everything is right with the world right now. Feeling productive. The dog is hanging out. And my camera hasn't frozen in an hour.
That's a
Knock on fake wood. Alright. Let's see. What can we do? Oh, no, that's bad.
Oh.
Let's not drop the glue gun. Alright, I'm gonna unplug the glue gun, let it cool off, because I didn't end up using that much of it. Mic nice and clear on my stumbling around with hot implements. Oh god, I have a stray alien eyeball
Love that.
because of removing it from the Toy Story alien. Ooh, I'm just gonna stick it right here in the little ball that I have. Kind of looks like a little brain. I'm just gonna leave it like that. It's pretty funny. Alright, so I'm going to take the liquid green stuff and paint on my nightclub logo to try to smooth out the texture. Need a different brush.
Oh, I guess I'm going a little bit out of order, but it's fine. Just have to. It doesn't really matter because the arms
I'll just fill it out pretty good.
together. So.
What'd you say there, Colton?
Oh, I'm doing the arms, and technically the arms are the third step, not the second.
This is actually doing pretty good, thickening over the 3D printed lines, which makes me think this might actually be a pretty solid solution for the dragon.
Nice.
Fill in the lines. So if anybody hasn't 3D printed before, it does it layer by layer. So what often happens with prints that are made from filament, the little rolls of like plastic string, is that you end up with a lot of horizontal lines across your piece, which is normally something that, like Colton had said earlier, you can get off with like acetone if you really care. Acetone's a little caustic though for your nose, so you want to be very careful about how much ventilation you make. You make sure you have a lot of ventilation when you're working with it. This liquid green stuff does not require any of that because it's literally just like a clay. It doesn't have an... I got my nose in it. Cool. It doesn't have an odor. It's easy to handle. Alright. Just trying to... I've had this thing for a while and I've been meaning to use it, or like have it as a display piece, and it's just been sitting here. It's also super easy to wash off, so it's not a big deal. Clean off. Oh, there we go. The troll's looking really good, by the way.
Oh, nice.
I ended up doing a little bit more
really nice.
cleanup on him. Got a little bit more into the crevices and the cracks. And looking pretty stellar. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna acetone the dragon. As I'm looking at it. Yeah, a good point. Alrighty. So I grabbed 100% acetone.
Oh wow!
At
If
the grocery
it's
store.
100% acetone, something that now I've not done this because I don't 3D print anything, but I was told from someone who I trust because they do a lot of 3D printing, is if you leave like
make like a bell jar sort of thing, right?
Yeah, and you let the acetone the
Sort of
acetone
just exist
gas
on it. Yeah.
Enclosed in a space, then you don't have to like it will just do it automatically, smooth out all those lines.
Yeah.
But I do not have the technical know-how to tell you how
Sure.
to.
I have a concept of that, which I was again probably gonna end up doing it. I just am curious.
Alrighty, now what head do I want to give this guy? That sounded different in my brain. So
Yeah, I'm gonna do
I
that.
have said that
I'm gonna do the
before.
bell jar, but I'll have to do it another day.
That's fair.
But yeah, so can't really see it, but it's already kind of like smoothing out the like I'm losing the buff, or I'm losing the metallic shine to it. But
Oh yeah.
it is smoothing. Well, I was gonna paint over it anyway, so it is okay. So we'll work on that. Not right now though. However, I do have something. Where is that little piece of wood that I was gonna glue my nightmare to? I'll attach the nightmare to it. I just had it, and I put it somewhere that I guess I didn't need. Well, oh, it was just sideways.
Love that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh shit.
You good?
I am the least patient person ever and cracked my nightmare off its base.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's what super glue's for.
That's true.
In fact, I think this might actually make it easier for me to paint it.
Oh, well that's good.
Take a base. Alright, this is, you know what, this is a good time as any to test this out. I want to see what happens when I use my ultra hyperpigments with these acrylics that are clear.
Ooh, that'll be cool.
Yeah. So let's close up the foam and drop a few bits of yellow and this is kind of fun.
Glad to hear it, Hope.
Yay. Well, I'm glad we were able to help you out, Hope. It's what we're here for. Hanging out, chatting about stuff, and helping people get through their evenings. That is the idea. Excuse me while I paint a horse butt.
That's what this is for. All right. So this
Painting
is
horse
the...
butts?
Well, just yeah. I mean, yeah. So this is the second flamer build.
Yeah.
One more, and I'll have a fully finished.
This looks cool. Look at this.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Like clear and color.
I really like that.
Well, that solves. Well, now I got to figure out, can I do what my initial thought was, which was to paint this and then like try to get a flame effect, so like grabbing other colors.
Oh, that'd be cute.
So, and then afterwards, I'm going to take black and I'm going to paint over certain areas, and then theoretically, I don't know if it's going to work, theoretically scratch so it looks like lava rock, and then have some of the color
Oh,
popping.
Goodness.
Yeah,
That's
like
brilliant.
I really want to try. I want to see if it works. Oh, then I didn't even notice that the nightmare totally has like spiky teeth and like a skeletal head.
Ooh.
It's gonna look cool. All right, so this is just yellow. But I have some like, slaughter red and orange. So theoretically I can add more to this to like build out the color.
Sure.
But this is a really solid look here. So we're gonna let that dry before I glue it back into its place. I don't know how to just put it down, I guess. And then we have the Displacer Beast, which is the other one I've been meaning to try to paint. And we've got black. I'm going to do a black coat on it, because he looks like a panther. Oh yeah, and if you start working on your embroidery, you absolutely come share it. And of course my camera died. It was good while it lasted. There we go. All right. So what's cool about the black paint is that it is darkening the whole thing, but it's still got this beautiful purple kind of glowing through it.
Ooh.
So it is working out pretty nice. The devil will be in the details for this one. Like,
I do want to show
sure
off.
I'm careful.
Hope's Christmas present.
Ooh, do so.
As she did say, she made it while watching the stream. It's
Ooh,
the
okay.
Logo of our podcast.
Oh, okay.
But like embroidered.
Aww, that's so cute.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was wonderful.
It's beautiful. Good
I'm
job,
doing
Hope.
a little
That's beautiful work.
rearrangement of my house, but I'm hoping to hang it up relatively soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Tail. What I might do is go over this in a slight purple, but looking pretty fucking rad. So then I'm gonna have to take a tiny bit of color, like an opaque color, and dot the eyes so that they glow a little bit, they pop. So it's a little hard to tell here in this color. Let me see if I can get it to show better if I say put a flashlight on it.
Oh my goodness. That's so pretty.
So it's got this neat little skeletal. It's definitely gonna look a lot better in person. But I am very excited about it.
Nice.
And then I need to do what for most of these acrylic ones, I need to paint the base in an opaque color.
Sure.
Let's do that. I'm here. Might as well. Ugh, my black is not very black, which does bum me out a little bit.
Have you tried any Tamiya paints?
Tamiya, I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
They're a modeling paint, obviously.
Gotcha.
Their paints look like this, and I forget exactly which color it is, but their black paint is gorgeous. I also need to throw this away because it is fully
Sitting here
dry.
trying to paint this fucking thing, and I have a goddamn holder.
Oh yeah, that might assist.
Completely forgot. Completely forgot that I had it. So this is testing my theory or my plan here that I want to hand prime the opaque parts of some of my models, and then these models specifically have magic or something that is in this clear color.
Right.
So I will not be able to maintain that clear color if I spray paint. And they're too specific, they'd be too hard to mask with masking tape. So I need to hand paint them. Let's see if I can move the focus here. Can I shift? Where's the focus here? Oh, that's the wrong. Huh. Let's see. Oh, does not look like it's gonna want to do this. Come on. Okay. Now let's try. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing. But everything's in black right now, so it is actually very hard to parse what's happening. This one's a little hard to go off. In terms of the paint job, you won't be able to see that I'm painting it, but the gray one, the other figures that have this kind of plastic look to them, or this clear plastic, they're gray, so they'll be easy to see.
Nice.
So I've been debating something, Colton.
Yes.
Technically, we're painting tabletop figures for D&D, right? Like, and Warhammer.
Well, you are, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like, that's part of the stream. So, like, I'm really debating whether or not to put the stream under Dungeons and Dragons for the purposes of Twitch streaming. People sometimes get bent out of shape about people, like, mislabeling or, you know, purposefully mislabeling in order to get views. And that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to, like, get faces, like, get eyeballs on the thing that I think those people want.
Right.
So, like, I'm sincerely torn about doing it.
I don't think it'll hurt.
Yeah, like, more people will see it, and those people, like, a lot of people like minis when they're playing D&D, so seems to me like it's a fun idea.
I say go for it.
Okay, well, maybe next time, instead of putting us in the art category, we'll go in the D&D category. Or at least the tabletop category.
Yeah.
This one I'm gonna have to take my heat gun to because the staff isn't straight. You gotta love these fucking little spears and stuff.
Oh, yes.
It's okay. I just make noises when I accidentally drop things. Well, thank you, Hope. We can only pick one label on Twitch. Like one category. So D&D has the biggest, like, view share. But, like, I also feel we're in that weird sort of vague gray area between, is this D&D content or is this art content? But I'm gonna change. That is not one of our free songs, or at least it's got lyrics. I don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy just to talk about D&D more instead of Warhammer more if we need to.
No, I think that's kind of the appeal of the show, is that we talk about both. But
well,
I'm
no,
not
I know. I'm
opposed
just saying, like, I can go on my weekly rant about
Get on our
D&D
soapbox,
instead
yeah.
of
and I like our soapbox. It's comfortable. It's very tall.
It's also just fun to stand on.
Make a point to mention it once per stream and we're covered. Not quite how it works, but I appreciate your enthusiasm, Hope. Being that Nerdsmith is a affiliate, we're not partner, but we're affiliate. We just want to be mindful of not getting reported, because that can affect our standing with the company, which can affect how much can affect our funding via subscribers. They could throttle our status if we were found to be fraudulent. So it's that you want to play within the rules as much as you can, while also trying to maximize people being able to find you. It's looking pretty good, actually. Hand priming. I'm not going to paint these figures, I just want them... I want the initial priming so that I can put them on my docket for later painting. I've been considering about getting the getting a plugin that will read out texts from, say, subscribers or from people in our chat who we designate as being safe to read out loud.
That would be fun. I think that would be helpful too, because
Yeah.
I mean, I need to check.
We miss it sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Hope, you wanna hear about Dungeons and Dragons? Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, there's dungeons and there's dragons.
Yes.
In the beginning.
What should I talk about Dungeons? Oh, okay. So, the cosmology of Dungeons and Dragons is called the Great Wheel. Right? There are outer
That's
planes.
a cosmology of Dungeons and Dragons. There are multiple. I am a fan of the Great Wheel, but I just want to be clear.
Okay, I stand that it is the only cosmology in Dungeons and Dragons because it's the only one that accounts for Sigil, which is what I'm going to be talking about right now.
Sure. Go for it. Sorry. Continue.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You are technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. So I'm more than happy to. So it's a great wheel. There are the outer planes, which all represent one indelible sort of ideal or concept. I don't have time to go into all 16 of them.
It's okay.
And then as we get further in, there are other planes. And that all sort of are around the prime material plane, which depends on where you are, what it is. It could be Eberron, it could be Toriel, it could be Faerun, could be the
Colton, you could
Realms.
Simplify the outer planes by just saying look at an alignment chart.
Yeah. Look at
the hells and the heavens based on the alignment chart.
Yeah, and also the neutral planes as well.
Yeah.
And inside all the outer planes are the outlands, which is the outer plane of pure order. It's in between all 16. And right in the middle of the outlands is an infinitely tall spire of rock. And on top of this infinitely tall spire, is a donut, essentially. And on the inside of this donut is a city. The city is called Sigil. It's the City of Doors, and it is the best thing that D&D has ever created.
You and Brennan Lee Mulligan agree on that.
Me and Brennan Lee Mulligan agree on a lot of things. Sigil is called the City of Doors for a reason. Every single
And it doesn't matter how
door-
you pronounce it.
Yeah, well, it does.
Sigil or sigil. I think it's fine either way. You said both, so I just wanted to I wanted to defend you if somebody was going to call you out on it.
Never do that. I mean, I'm happy to call myself out on it because I know it's pronounced sigil, and I do sometimes say sigil, and I'm wrong when I say sigil because it's sigil. But every single door and window and grate and cup of coffee in sigil is a portal to somewhere. They're not always open. You need very specific items to act as keys to these portals to open them. But you can go anywhere in the entire D&D multiverse in sigil. And because of that, it has the most diverse populace. Because
Boy, howdy, does it.
Yeah, Hope. Every single, like...
A portal in the Donut City. Gotcha. I love it. Everybody's a cop and everybody eats donuts.
Every opening can be a portal. Like, as long as it's a closed thing, it can act as a portal in Sigil. And in Sigil, you get, like, just places where, like, an angel and a demon will be having a spirited discussion about ethics in a bar after work.
Listen,
you get to see...
You can ship them, and they run a bookshop.
Yeah.
Sorry, it got to me. I was like, okay, sure. Headcanon received.
Well, not quite every opening. There's every inanimate opening.
There you go.
But it's so there's just everyone living in the city, and everyone just kind of gets along, and there are really cool factions, and also the single best and this will get me canceled.
I'm excited.
The single best D&D video game ever is set in Sigil, which is Planescape Torment, which is better than Baldur's Gate 3, and I stand by that.
It deserves a reboot or a remake if people are going to get all uppity about, like, graphics and stuff.
I think it needs, if it's a purely visual update, I'm all for it.
Yeah, could you imagine Planescape in, like, the Baldur's Gate engine? That would be cool.
It would, yes, that would be brilliant. I don't want them to touch anything because it's perfect.
Gotcha.
It has such a perfect story. I mean, there's some mechanic. I would be fine if they moved from AD&D rules to 5e rules.
Sure.
Because AD&D
I mean, and they just came out with a Planescape book, so...
Yes.
So it seems kind of ripe for the taking.
Yeah. But Sigil, God damn it. Sigil
sigil is a symbol. A sigil is a city.
Yes. Sigil is ruled by the enigmatic Lady of Pain.
Yeah.
Who is definitely not a god.
Yep.
She is very insistent on that. And will kill you if you worship her. And she is arguably the most powerful being in the entire multiverse.
But not a god. Don't fucking worship her.
But not a god. And she keeps Sigil neutral. Because Sigil is the plain embodiment of pure neutrality.
It is Switzerland.
Which means it is neutral ground for everything. Yeah, it's Switzerland. And she has ultimate power in the city. And when she doesn't like something, her the Lady of Pain, she is this brilliantly red-robed figure that floats around with a mask made out of knives. She never speaks. She just
gives off mommy vibes, and we love that.
She does. If she doesn't like what you're doing, her first thing that she does is she just flenses you. She just removes all your skin, and there's that. If you survive that and continue to make a stupid decision, like trying to destabilize Sigil, she puts you in a eternal maze demiplane that you wander around forever until you either die or the multiverse ends through heat death. That's the thing. The Lady of Pain is the one character in D&D you can't romance. I mean, I'm sure there's DMs that will let you, but like, I personally think that like that kind of defeats the purpose of her whole character, because like
you don't have to. I don't have to date you, but can you step on me? Like, just one?
Yeah. Like, for her to do that, that would be like bringing her out of neutrality, right? She is no longer neutral towards
existence.
Towards anyone. Yeah. I think that is very much the vibes. Hope. But a big part of Planescape is Planescape Torment is a hag called Ravel, who is Ravel rather, who is written by the same writer who wrote Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2's Darth Treya, who is the other best old woman in video game history.
Oh, Kreia?
Kreia, yeah.
She's awesome.
These two games were written by the same person. Well, partially written by the same person. And they're both old lady anarchists, and Ravel had a plan. She was going to cast magic so powerful that was going to open every single portal in Sigil at the exact same time.
So the end of Cabin in the Woods.
Yes. And it was going to be terrible, and she never got to do it. And I want to see a campaign setting in the hypothetical where that happens.
Ooh. That would be fucking nuts.
Where like 90% of the population is dead, and like Sigil has to rebuild after this.
Thank you for the hydrate reminder, Hope.
Oh yes, will do. After I glue on this guy's arm, I think I like it like this almost, up in the air. Also, all the original art for second edition's Planescape was done by Tony DeTizzardly, or whatever his name is, and it's gorgeous.
Nice. I did a little goblin. The little goblin has a clear torch.
Oh!
So I have this cute little goblin now.
I love that.
I have so many little goblins too, like different styles of goblin, which makes me very happy.
Right. Nice. If you want to see my favorite goblin art, look up MTG Battle Bond goblins. They're so cute. They have big ol' like bat ears, like big floppy bat ears, and they're so cute.
I'm so excited. I get to prime my Furbolg sorcerer.
Ooh.
She looks awesome.
I love that.
I wasn't sure when I was going to get to do this, so I'm glad I had some time to do this today.
Yeah, pretty much. Except for she flenses you before she puts you in a maze, usually. But yeah, that's
The
pretty
gist.
accurate. And of course, there are more things, like there are several factions in Sigil that all have they're all backed by certain brands of philosophy. They each have their own philosophical ideal that sort of gives them power. Like the sensates believe that the only way to true enlightenment is to experience every sensation.
Okay.
So they have these sensoriums.
It's very hedonism.
Yeah, and that's sort of the main how sensates are usually seen, where they're just like, oh, they're just a bunch of hedonists. But
Or Cenobites, depending on how you're coding them.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, the sensates don't only experience the good; they also experience the bad. In the sensoriums, there's the feeling of true love, but there's also the experience of being mauled by an owlbear.
Incredible.
And you can experience all of those because they have developed magic items that lets you store sensations. So you get to go around. There are the dustmen that they believe that everything is already dead. Like that this existence is merely an afterlife of itself. And they take care of the dead because they believe that those that die in this existence have passed on into true death. And it's just it's very fun. It's very cute, and I love it. And
I kept myself from being too snarky just then because I just wanted to be like, okay, J.J. Abrams.
Honestly,
they're all actually dead.
They're sensates. Sensoriums, I believe, is the term instead of Cinnabons, though I love. I'm sure since the sensates would pay very a lot of money for a sensory stone that has the sensation of eating a Cinnabon in it.
Hell yeah.
Oh, then I don't know what Angela said.
What did I say?
I don't know. Something that sounds like Cinnabons?
Cenobites. I said Cenobites.
Oh, Cenobites, yeah.
The creatures from Hellraiser. Though I will say, Cenobites would be a great character for a candy food themed place.
Oh my god. If Mulligan ever goes back to
experience true sugar.
If Mulligan ever goes back to the candy
cane, candy cane.
It's going to be disappointing if there aren't Cenobites.
I'll have to share that with Andy. He'd be so proud that I made that joke. Though I'll have to explain Cenobites to him.
I love Cenobites.
I did fall down a Hellraiser lore hole the other month. That was something I did in 2023.
Ain't it just weird as hell, literally?
It's so weird, but so interesting. I'm not really that interested in watching the movies. They can get real grody.
Yeah.
But I did watch the new one on Hulu. The new one on Hulu was good. I enjoyed it. Yes, I did only watch it for the actress from Sense8 who played the hacker playing the new Pinhead. So they kind of had this more androgynous / feminine read on Pinhead,
Well, I mean,
which was very good.
Pinhead was a woman in the books.
Right. So it was fun to have them kind of go back to that. It was really cool though. Like, she was cool. And it was a, solid Hellraiser movie based on what I understand to be the, like, common plot line of it.
If you like
It also had a
body
really
horror.
cool location. The whole premise of the movie was that this, like, really rich guy created a puzzle box mansion
Oh, that's cute.
and would sacrifice people to the Cenobites because he's trying to open the box, or I forget what it's called.
Oh god, I know this.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm so disappointed in myself that I
It's
don't.
okay.
Purple alchemy. What? Lament configuration.
Yes. But the point is that there's other configurations
Yeah.
in the box, and he's trying to get through all of them. Because when you get through all of them, you can make a wish to the Cenobites for, like, true enlightenment, true power, and then there was another option. So they, it's just, it was a neat premise. They did a really good job with it. It had a lot of fun twists in it, and God, the worst bit was, like, the guy who built the house. He was, they found him. He was, like, secretly in the house still.
Weird.
And he had actually reached the pure enlightenment. Like, he opened the box and the Cenobites came down. But you didn't see what he had wished for. And you find out that he wished for power. And the power ability, or no, it was sensation. He wished for sensation, which is such a bad idea.
Yeah, my god.
So they put a machine, it attached to his chest or his back, and, like, went through his body and attached to all of his, like, nerves and ligaments, and he was in a constant state of agony and pain as he was moving around.
Yeah,
and so
that tracks.
So he lures a bunch of a bunch of kids to the mansion so he can sacrifice them again to reopen the box, because he wants to fucking, like, get revenge on the Cenobites and make them take it away. Like, I don't want this.
So yeah, here are my finished flamers.
Yay! They look so
they're
good.
all built, all in their multi-headed, gibbering, terrifying glory. Yeah, so that's...
I'm so happy for you. They look really good.
Thank you. I mean... it wasn't necessarily, I didn't do much other than just
No, I
glue
know, but
pieces
you
together,
had said you hadn't gotten to assemble a lot, or at all yet. This was, like, the first time you got to assemble, or, like, you hadn't in a while.
Yeah, just in a while.
That's awesome. I'm really glad.
Yeah, they're fun. They're a great artillery unit
Mm-hmm.
because they just have really long range, and shoot big explosions, which are fun. Big explosions of warp fire, which is both fire from the warp, which is the, like, place that the demons live,
Mm-hmm.
and also warp fire as in the fire warps you as it burns you.
Jeez.
And there's, like, this description of this guardsman somewhere, I forget where, that encounters warp fire and survives, and like the burn marks like begin to mutate and like start speaking and growing eyes and like
Oh god.
yeah.
Oof.
Not fun to interact
No.
with. But yeah.
I pulled a fun trick on my players on Sunday.
Oh.
And by trick I just mean like a magic trick, not I tricked them. So one of our characters, so I'm still working on the concept, but so I introduced ruidium into my game. Ruidium being a material from Matt Mercer's Critical Role supplement, the Netherdeep. It's a like cursed material, like a red crystal that can cause a poison.
Sure.
Like a poison effect, but you can also get weapons that are tipped with it, so that it forces a creature that you hit with it to make a Constitution save, or it becomes poisoned. And ruidium poisoning basically just amplifies all the negative emotions you feel, while also it also attaches to the exhaustion mechanic. So as you gain levels of exhaustion, you start having like red veins going up your body, or like crystals start forming on you and things like that. So one of our characters got ruidium poisoning because he failed his save, and it's been a while. Like I haven't been able to fully figure out how to fully explore the effect of it on his character. I hadn't really broke that story well.
Sure.
And so we finally started getting into it and spent a little bit of time on Sunday explaining, because we did a time skip over the holiday break. We said, okay, a couple months will have passed when we get back. And so we spent the episode, it was really fun. We spent the whole session just recapping what the month looked like for everybody, which was a very fun time. And one thing that happened was I went back to the monk and I said, hey, so let's talk about the ruidium poisoning. Somebody totally, one of the players totally left me aghast when they said, Angela, you basically created fantasy lupus. And I was like, what? Because I said it flares up occasionally, and you can have like breakouts of it. And so he because you can heal, the symptoms go away when you have a long rest, but you have to cure it via some other means, like a wish spell or something. Right. So if you get exhaustion again, the effects are going to start again. So you have to, keep it in mind. And so he still has it, even though he got rested and he's feeling better and things. So I described to him that he still feels these things. And so he's at night one time and he's trying to go to bed, and I said, you're really struggling because you are I asked him if he tells his friends that he's having a bad time, like he's starting to feel these bad emotions again. And he's like, well, I'm trying to be better about sharing things. It was good character growth. He's like, yes, I do tell my friends that I'm struggling right now because I promised that I would tell them if I was in need of their help. And I went, good job. So he's thinking about wanting to help protect them, but also, wanting to be true to the agreement of how to be a good friend, how to be communicative, and how to let himself rely on people. And so as I am wont to do, I'm talking him through the mentality of his character. I'm telling him, these are the things you're experiencing right now. These are the doubts you're starting to feel. And I only do this occasionally. I lead a character when I'm giving them kind of a supernatural description of something. And so he's just nodding along, yeah, I'm feeling that way. And I said, and you worry sometimes, there's still this voice in the back of your head that's like, what if I rely on them and something bad happens? You know, it was a fear he'd already had. And I was like, well, what if something bad happens? What if you're struggling to, what if this gets worse? And then I turn my voice modulator on and I have this deep, echoey voice happen. And it says, what if you wake up one day and it's not you that wakes up, it's something else?
Oh no.
And they're on this boat all alone with you, thinking it's you. And I just kept talking, and I just saw the switch in the players, because it went from the monk is struggling with internal turmoil to, oh, you're making character growth? There's something about this Ruidium that doesn't want you to.
Oh god, that's...
So the player's like, oh, okay, so different voice in my head then. I was like, yep. And it was just really funny and exciting, and I'm really glad. In the Critical Role universe, Ruidium is a material that was named after one of the moons in the sky, like a red moon. But it's not really about the moon. It was like kind of a misnomer. It has more to do with a god. And
let's not hope. I don't want to steal this idea for Flad. That sounds terrifying.
But so this idea that they are trying to so the idea that there's a god that is dealing with this Ruidium, like that, I'm working on my own version of the origin of it.
Sure.
And I'm trying to decide like what the actual origin is for my world, because I don't want to take Ruidius or whatever it's called from Critical Role. I don't want to take the Campaign 3 storyline. So I'm just kind of playing around with it right now. I think it'll be fun. I'm
nice.
Once I like I said, I've sort of hinted at the story, and the players are kind of getting it, but like they're definitely misattributing things right now, which is fun. When I say something really vague and they're making connections that I'm like, oh, they're gonna be wrong, but also they're gonna wish they were right. Because they're like, oh, the red one, that must be this assassin person. I was like, yeah, sure, it's a random mortal. It's definitely who I'm talking about. Not some, like, deity.
Right. No, yeah, of course.
I find that my players have really enjoyed discovering connections between plot lines in a way that I thought they were going to find it trite. Or like, oh, that's really convenient. They seem to really like it, actually.
That's good.
One of my players has a, if you've ever seen that, like, very X-Files poster that's of a UFO and it says, I want to believe.
Yes. Yeah,
one of my players has that next to their desk, and every time I say something that's remotely suspicious, they just smack their hand on the poster and stare at me. I was like, that's the symbol of, it's going on my murder wall. It's going on my conspiracy wall. It's amazing. It's so funny. Nice. But it also is very encouraging that they're that invested, that they're building conspiracies about the campaign.
I love that.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
So I'm going to prime these.
Okay.
I can't right now because
sure.
I only have spray primer, but I think this is what I'm going to paint next week.
Nice.
Gonna paint the big guy, 3-armed guy.
Cool. Take a picture so that I can use it for our promos.
Oh yeah, I will. I'll actually do that right now.
I'm redoing my stone giant, because I did not paint him as well as I wanted to. I should have primed him in black instead of white. Because the contrast paints didn't really make as big of an impact as I wanted them to. Like, I'm going to do a lot of dry brushing on this guy so that he is a paler character, but it's going to there were no shadows in the paint, so I was a little disappointed. But it will be better.
Alrighty, sent you the photo.
Nice, thank you.
I'm interested to like figure out exactly what colors I'm gonna paint it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's just so many heads on this guy. I'm gonna have to be so careful.
What kind of video games do you like, Colton? Do you like meditative, like, indie games? Do you like puzzle games?
My most played game is Stellaris,
Okay.
which is a space-based 4X game.
Okay.
Which is like Civilization or
Sure.
HOI 4 or, like empire building games. My favorite video game is Disco Elysium.
Okay.
Because it's just the best video game, period.
Yeah, that gives me a lot of info to go on.
Yeah. I read the head writer's book, which is set in the same universe as Disco Elysium.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it's technically an unofficial translation because the guy's Estonian and it was written in Estonian.
It feels very Eastern European.
Yeah. I mean,
as someone, this is fun information for the audience. As someone who took a Polish science fiction and fantasy class in undergrad, I definitely know Eastern European sci-fi when I see it.
A lot of Stanislaw Lem, I'm assuming.
Yeah, a lot of Stanislaw Lem. We watched and read like 4 different versions of Solaris.
Oh, yeah, that
including the George Clooney version. And The Witcher before The Witcher came out. I read The Witcher The Last Wish like years before the final translations came out. It was the first translation. So it was like, it would have been really cool. Like, we only read the first of the Witcher books because none of the other ones had been translated yet into English. It was cool. So like when I found out The Witcher was existing, I was like, oh shit, awesome.
I need to read those books. I never have.
They're very good. They're very good.
That's what I've heard.
I have, like, that's the thing. I only read the first. The first one that I read was The Last Wish, which is a series of short stories, which are very interesting. They're like taking the tropes of classic fairy tales and sort of twisting them into the author's lens. Putting them in a dark fantasy where there's a lot more complication to things. But like there's in the show, there's also this character, but like the Beauty and the Beast story is really interesting. One, because the Beast is like a giant porcupine guy. Right. Which is also very fun. But like a lot of it is having to do with stuff that technically happens in the first season of of The Witcher. So like The Last Wish is specifically referring to the genie or the djinn.
Oh, okay.
There's a bunch of them. Like the opening of, I want to say The Witcher 2 or I think The Witcher 3 video game. The intro is like the first chapter of The Last Wish, where it talks about Geralt preparing to attack or preparing to hunt a monster for this nobleman, but then it turns out that the monster is just a woman who has been cursed and she turns into a monster, and he like hides in a coffin until daybreak and then finds her and is able to help cure her.
Oh, nice.
Very much plays off the idea of like monsters are not what you expect, and the monsters are often the people.
Right. I only watched the show. I've not played any of the games or
Witcher 3 is
the
so
books.
good.
That's what I've heard.
Content warning, but yeah, it gets a little intense. Some of the thematic elements, we'll say, get a
Sure.
little intense with the monsters, because what I love about The Witcher is the idea of magic being very very linked to the concept of your intent. So, like,
Okay,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
accidentally curse somebody if you speak harsh enough to them and want hard enough to hate, like, if you hate them hard enough and, like, wish something terrible on them, you can inadvertently curse someone.
That's cute.
Well, and the monsters, like, what's, like, Geralt has, like, he's very much a nerd. He's got the Rolodex in his head. He's very professional. And knowing the origins of different types of monsters, that, like, you know, there's like a noon wraith is a woman who died in midday and, like, was left in a certain way, and she only haunts in the afternoon, or that kind of thing. The one of them that is the most intense, that I would say, fair warning to anybody playing the game. You can obviously, like, skip the storyline, but there's an entire plot line in the third one where there's a monster that is a dead baby.
Oh dear.
It has an umbilical cord and everything, and it's real upsetting. Like, I don't like it. It's called, like, a graveling or something. Or actually, it might be called, like, a bloatling, which is really gross. But it's literally just a baby trying to kill him. I was like, that's awful.
Reminds me of Resident Evil, what, 8, 7?
Oh, it's
New
very that particular monster, very Resident Evil. But, like, I love the third game is so good because you at least I informed a bit more on it, but I really felt Geralt and his attempt to like, he's looking for Ciri in the third game because she's gone missing, and you just feel his pain when, like, he thinks something bad might have happened to her. It's just really sweet. Plus the voice actor's just, oh god, like, so good. All the voice acting in that game is very good. Good night, Hope.
Sounds good, Hope. Sleep well.
We should probably start wrapping up too.
Yes. That we should.
But as a final kind of, like, here's how we wrapped up. So here's what I ended up doing. I did a lot of stuff. So we've got, oh, my screen went out again. Come on. Try it one more time. Boop. Boop. And activate. There we go. So so I've got my beholder that has this crunchy stone base. We've got the troll also with some base stonework. We've got my purple worm with some stuff that I think I need to go over with the green stuff. Finally figured out how to do a base for the harpy. So harpy's got some cool stony base. I did some priming for a few of my magic figurines, including my necromancer with a zombie coming out of the ground. So this will be like a greenish or a purple kind of magic coming out. I've got an Asimar with a flaming staff in clear plastic, and then the wings. And then another Asimar that I just started, but I'll probably stop. The Nightmare in yellow, but I gotta go look on some. I gotta go do some research about how to do a good flame gradient. I always forget. Big Furbolg lady as an example of difference in size. That's the tiefling. That's the Furbolg.
Nice.
So she's a good 8 feet tall, which I love for her. I've got the re-primed stone giant. I've got my. Oh man, I just realized that part of the reason it looks purple is because I have a purple light on right now. But my what you call it?
That looks
Displacer
really good.
Beast. It's super subtle. Like I might need to put it on a light stand to really show the color. But yeah, and I got some trees, and my little goblin, my little lantern goblin.
Adorable.
He's so cute. He or she is so cute. Got little boobs, I assume, a girl. And then my hill giant. I love the difference between the hill giant and the stone giant.
Yeah, amazing. Honestly.
Oh, so good. All right, that's all I got. Only a little bit of super glue on my fingers.
I escaped with just a drop or so I'm
Nice.
pleased.
All right. Well, I am super excited about our figures that we finished. This is like such a productive stream. I really love it.
Yeah, I'm very happy we get to do this.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I agree. Oh, I did forget to share one thing. I kind of want to turn the beginning of show into like show and tell sometimes. I got some fun dice from a random online company because I have no chill.
Sure.
I got a bard set. A couple of pieces. It's a music sheet D4. And so when you drop it, it's whichever side is pointed up on the piece because it's curved. I got a little D2 beer stein. So it just lands on a 1 or a 2, which is fun. And it also has a little horn D8, which is a little hard to read sometimes, but it's cute. And then I love D2s, by the way. They're just coins essentially, but I got a wizard D2.
Oh, that's cute.
Which is just a
I love
book,
that.
which is very fun. And I got a D20 wizard hat.
Oh
Right, so
my
there it
goodness. That's amazing.
It doesn't stop spinning. Like if I spin it, it'll just keep going for an extended period of time if I put enough oomph on it. I'm just like, oh, I put too much on it. And so I
Right.
just have to kind of like tap it and be like, okay, chill out, bud.
Nice.
That was a nat 1.
Ooh, that's or a nat 20.
No, then
Did-
oh, that's a good point. I think it's easier to read what's touching the ground than
that's
trying
fair.
to assess what's the highest point. So I typically go with what's on the low part. But these are really cute. Like the colors are really pretty. Like they
Yeah.
pop a lot. I had bought a while back. I don't have all of them, but I bought a cleric set. So they're this
Ooh.
pearly white. So I have this mace D6 that's really cool. But it comes with a bunch of stuff. Like a couple of them look like holy hand grenades.
That's amazing.
They're really fun. But yeah. Alrighty. Oh, and last but not least, of course, the eyeball that I mounted in some extra foam that I had. So I'm just gonna leave this like a weird little brain.
Nice. I love it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, thank
Before
you.
we go, Colton, would you like to hype up or promote anything?
Yes. I am going to be, as I always am, on the podcast For Light and Dice, which is a Star Wars 5e TTRPG actual play podcast that's set in the High Republic era of current Star Wars. It's very fun. It's very silly. It's very sad. But it's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing bad ever happens in High Republic or Star Wars, so you don't even need
Never.
to worry about
Of
it. And other than that, that's about it for me right now.
All right. This week we have the Dragon's Crown coming back on Friday at 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern. We have one of our movie watching nights this week. Let me check the Discord. You should check the Discord. Let's see. Put the link in chat. Most things, by the way, if you ever need to, most of it's exclamation point, the thing you're looking for. So exclamation point Discord is how you find the Discord link. We have, let me check the events calendar. Pacific Rim is going to be on Thursday night as we continue our sci-fi week, or sci-fi month. That's at 6 p.m. We have Dragon's Crown on Friday, and then on Saturday night at around 7, Franz and some of us are going to be playing Jackbox. So if you like party games, that's a good time to do that. And then next week we have Pixel on Monday with video games, me and Alora. Tuesday is another movie night. They're going to watch Ready Player One. And then we're back here with Paint of Heart on Tuesday.
Nice.
So please check it out. If you like what you watched tonight and you want to find out more, you can find us on nerdsmith.org, or you can consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdsmith. And you can find us on socials. You just look up Nerdsmith or We Are Nerdsmith. You can find us most places. If you follow us here or on Twitter, you'll get updated on when we go live with things. And you all are amazing. Colton, thank you for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's
been
always a
fun.
pleasure hanging out.
Yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah. So everybody, have a great rest of your night. What was the? Oh, I remember. Have a great rest of your night. Wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you on Tuesday, and live life to the fullest and paint from the heart. All right. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.